have the National Youth Choir and share so much of his talent and his knowledge with them.
Every time I listen to the music he did for Our Boys, the play that he wrote, I sit there fascinated. I said, Bahama actually did this, because my mind can't relate to classical music, but I listened to what he was doing. Even some of the arrangements he did with the National Youth Choir, you can hear that classical foundation that he has, and his ability to transfer that knowledge and translate that into what he wanted to do with the choir and with many of his other compositions.
I remember when he did Our Boys, when he wrote the opera, Our Boys, and there was a piece in it. I said to him, I'd done this one night, I said, Opie, that little piece there sounds like something I hear long ago. And he said, you really have a memory. I wrote that when I was about 16.
My earliest memory of Opie composing music, I was completely impressed, because at the government high school, Marion St. George had him compose pieces for the school choir. And that struck me as something very special, because her standards were extremely high. And that spoke to the level of his brilliance.
That was an important opportunity to him, because here is an avenue for your music. I could remember in assembly one year that he had a quartet in high school, and they did Summertime. I was amazed to hear his arrangement of Summertime, a song that constantly played in this house. But here it was, Cleophus did a total arrangement. Yes, it was the song, but then you can hear that it was a new arrangement of the song. And at that moment, I realized that my brother was a good arranger.
Awesome. I always used to say, boy, used to stretch the sopranos, because he always made the soprano line extra high. But he was really very good.
He and I ended up in university together. He was still writing a lot. In fact, I used to ask him, you come here to do law or music? You know, because he was still writing a lot of music. And I remember when he started to do the Mass, which was called Misa Carib, he said to me, I'm doing a Mass and it's going to be in Latin. And I said, oh. He said, well, you did Latin at St. John's, so you could help me with that. I said, I don't know all. I did Latin for 5 years, but I can't help you with no Mass.
My style of music is more popular, and he was definitely more in the classical vein. I didn't really think that our folklore songs should be too highfalutin, but I guess that was his thing, so.
The watermelon is boiling. The watermelon is boiling. The watermelon is boiling on the vine. Oh, me, oh.
watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, 2 rivalry gangs on Grand Bahama. Is the police concerned? The Member of Parliament for North Abaco weighing in on unauthorized buildings on that northern island. And educators reflect on former education director Clarence Carroll. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Roll-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, police are talking gang activity tonight. While Grand Bahama is relatively quiet as far as crime is concerned, there is a rival gang situation. Tonight, the officer in charge of Grand Bahama speaks candidly about the Nike Boys and Puma gang and says police officers are aware and are on top of this situation.
We have 2 feuding fractions here in Grand Bahama, the Nike and the Puma Boys.
These are the 2 gangs on Grand Bahama. Officer in charge of the Northern Bahamas, Ashton Greenslade, say many who are a part of this group are young men who grew up with no fathers in the household and are at risk.
I try to have a dialogue with them as much as possible. And when and wherever we need to enforce the law, we enforce the law. When we need to execute a search warrant on their premises and take a gun and arrest them, put them before the court, we do that. Whenever they breach of the penal code, they commit a criminal offense, we take them before the court.
Greenslade admits that there are times when these feuds result in murder.
We sometimes, if you allow it to fester, sometimes we have a homicide. Because if these youngsters or these misguided youths get their hand on a weapon, they will use it. That's why once we get the information, we act on it right away, and we try to bring them into custody.
So this is serious then?
Yes, but we try to be proactive. And we haven't had a serious incident from them for a while, and we're trying to keep it that way.
And here's the age group of most of the members.
We're between the ages of 17 and 21. Young fellas, young men who are misguided, who really need that father figure.
There has been some concern expressed that these types of gangs often target school children, but Greenslade says that's not the case.
We don't give them that opportunity here in Grand Bahama, because every day my officers in the schools, every day my commanders and their officers in the school, we want the young people to be like us, not like the gangsters.
In news from the crime beat, a female resident of Inagua Avenue south of Carroll Road is in custody for possession of a quantity of marijuana. Police tell us that officers, along with a team from Customs acting on information, conducted a search of the residence, and officers reportedly discovered a quantity of taped packages of suspected marijuana in a 36-inch white igloo cooler. The value of the drugs is said to be around $73,000. Now, in a second incident, shortly after 12 p.m. yesterday, officers of the Drug Enforcement Unit and officers of the Bahamas Customs Department acting on information and armed with a search warrant went to a house on Spinney Road. Officers searched the home and discovered a quantity of suspected marijuana. A male resident was arrested and taken into police custody. Investigations are continuing. Now to news from Abaco. The Ministry of Works has stepped up its surveillance of illegal construction. Last week, a number of unauthorized structures in the shantytown known as the farm were demolished, and residents were warned that any and all unauthorized buildings will be torn down. Tonight, the Member of Parliament for North Abaco, the Honorable Darren Henfield, is providing more insight into that matter. Italia Hall has more.
A statement issued by the Ministry of Works confirmed that 45 incomplete and unoccupied structures at the farm Shantytown and Treasure Key were torn down and the debris taken away. Hurricane Dorian in September of 2019 destroyed the mud and pea shanty towns in Marsh Harbor, as well as the sandbank in Treasure Key. Now, Member of Parliament for North Abaco, the Honorable Darren Henfield says some homes in the farm area survived Hurricane Dorian and new unauthorized homes were recently erected. Henfield says the government is adamant that such irregular communities must be eradicated as they are unsafe and unsanitary.
And we saw in Dorian the results of what took place to communities that are irregularly built. And so this exercise in the courts, we were stopped, but the courts also determined that the government should not remove or eradicate any buildings existing, but there would be no more new builds. This exercise simply follows the court order, where there should be no new buildings, and as we seek to regularize communities, not only in Abaco, but all across the Bahamas.
He says residents must realize that they have a right to own and purchase land.
We are a country of laws, and Bahamians are encouraged to follow the laws. Anybody who comes here should follow the laws of our country, and I want to congratulate the Deputy Prime Minister who's leading this charge as the Minister of Works for the human effort that he's been doing in this regard to help to regularize our communities.
Now, there are reports of an apparent housing shortage in Abaco, as many were destroyed by Hurricane Dorian, and as a result, some residents have resorted to building unauthorized structures. But the North Abaco MP says despite the circumstances, the law must be followed.
All must obey the laws of the country. If you're entitled to be in the Bahamas, you can go and acquire land in accordance with the government programs, where we intend to establish communities in Abaco subdivisions, one in Central Pines near Murphytown. We've made provisions for one in Spring City and one in Wilson City. And so we advise people to follow the law, abide by the regulations and the rules, and all will be well.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Also from Abaco tonight, the North Abaco MP is expressing concern about the number of traffic accidents on the streets of that northern island. Speed, he says, have been attributed as a factor in many of them. MP Darren Henfield calls it troubling.
This was something that we heard about in 1992 when, under the leadership of the former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, we put these roads from Sandy Point all the way to Crown Haven, and people were fearful. But today we're seeing too many traffic fatalities by young people on our streets, and I implore them to slow down. Speed kills, and not only could potentially kill you, but it has potential for causing injury and harm to other people.
In other news, the Grand Bahama economy will be the topic of discussion during the 22nd annual Grand Bahama Business Outlook webinar Thursday, April 29th and Friday, April 30th. The webinar will begin at 9:30 a.m. on both days. President of the Counselor Limited, Joan Albury, says this year's speakers and discussion panel will include some of the top industry leaders in the country.
The outlooks are held in 7 islands, and we begin usually in January with the Bahamas Business Outlook, which takes place in Nassau. And then immediately after that, usually in about February, we host the Grand Bahama Outlook. However, because of Dorian and then COVID, we were not able to have the Outlook in Grand Bahama last year. But there have been a number of announcements recently, including the airport and other developments going on. So we thought that this would be a great time for us to have the Outlook.
Now, a number of keynote speakers will be presenting at the Business Outlook, which will be the first virtual webinar in its 22 years of existence. To register, you can contact Margaret Albury at Counselors Limited at email malbury@tclbahamas.com, or you can register at www.tclevents.com. And persons can also call 322-7505 for more information.
Our keynote speaker is going to be Senator the Honorable James Crazy Thompson. And Minister Crazy Thompson will speak to our theme, which is Facing Unprecedented Times, Recover, Adapt, Advance. And after Minister Crazy Thompson, we will have the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Greg LaRoda, who's going to be talking to the subject Rebound for the Better. And then we'll have a number of other speakers, including Dr. Charles Diggis, who is going to be talking about the relationship with between doctors and the Cleveland Clinic. His topic is the value of global co-branding for Bahamian companies.
Stay with us. There's more news on the other side of the break.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Has math been stressing you or your child out lately? Well, cheer up. Relief is now available through the Math Professor and more. Our team brings a wealth of knowledge and a proven success record. Looking to develop communication skills and confidence when speaking to an audience? We can help with that too. Give us a call today at 602-6851 or 727-1257. You deserve a break, and we're here to help.
On Point Designs Mother's Day sale on photo enlargements and banner printing, April 26th through May 24th. Located downtown in the Mayport Building. Phone 688-3510. The month of May is reserved for honoring mothers. Perhaps the most important woman in all our lives. The Broadcasting Corporation invites you to celebrate Mom by sending us your Mother's Day greeting, no longer than 10 seconds for TV, or book your spot live on radio. Call the sales department here at ZNS for more information. 351-3430 or 352-9713. ZNS, creating memories and spreading the love.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Bahamas, get ready for our national launch coming June 1st, 2021. For the first time ever, any store can advertise their sale items or discounted coupons on ZNS. And you get TV and radio commercials at never-before-seen prices. So if you got stuff and you want to put it on sale, we will tell the entire Bahamas about it. So merchants, log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and click the Merchant Inquiry button and get started.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Fellow educators reflecting on the contributions of former Education Director Clarence Carroll, who passed away this past weekend. He is being remembered as a teacher's teacher whose work continues to lay a positive print in classrooms throughout the country. Our Jamila Mizik reports.
He has left an indelible mark on the education sector across the Bahamas. That, according to those who knew him personally. Clarence Carroll started out as a classroom monitor in his hometown of Long Island and eventually rose as the director in the Ministry of Education, a role he held for a number of years. The Long Island native is being remembered by fellow Long Islanders and former educators Hezekiah Dean and Joseph Darville as a man who came from a good family and one who inspired them as educators.
I've never met anybody as eloquent as he was. I have always envied and wondered why I couldn't be quite as smart as he was, coming from the same island. He was that good. And when he spoke with you, if you got on any topic, eloquence just flowed. He just knew it. He was brilliant.
He had such knowledge and understanding. He is what I would call an example of Solomon, a man full of wisdom, which if you have knowledge with that, then you have this stream of knowingness, which means that at any situation, you know everything. And that's the way I saw Clarence Carroll from a very early age. And all of us who went into education, of course, had him as an example.
Former educators Damaris Thompson, Neville Brennan, and Principal Rodney Bethel say Clarence Carroll was a trailblazer in the modernization of education in the Bahamas.
He really had a vision for this district. He believed in teachers and principals, and he believed in them being developed and becoming leaders and really very good at their craft. He also gave me many opportunities to show my creativity.
He believed that education was the key to national development. Consummate, professional, extraordinary educator, and a person with regards to education we should all emulate.
He took us beyond chalk and talk, the typewriter era, right into the world of cell phones and the computer. As DO, superintendent, he took us into leadership conferences island-wide. In all of the school's public endeavors, he invited the private schools into our midst and shared with them everything except supplies, which we never had enough of.
Former educator Cecil Thompson says Carroll impacted many lives and that his legacy will live on.
He was a visionary. I wonder if the vice president of the College of the UB, I wonder if lecturers at UB, I wonder if the students at UB know who started it. The fellow from Long Island, Clarence Carroll. It is passing the Commonwealth of the Bahamas would have lost one of the icons of education, one of the giants of education, one of the visionaries of education, one of the pace setters of education.
Now, Clarence Carroll passed away in Grants, Bahama on Sunday, April 25th at the age of 80. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, instructors at Ruthnell Technical Institute in Hawksville say they are totally committed to exposing students to the best technical and general education experience possible. They're now adding new short-term programs to its array of technical career courses. Ramiko Knowles reports.
The Ruthnell Technical Institute, led by President Fred Delancey, is currently registered with the National Accreditation Equivalency Council of the Bahamas, NACOB, to provide students with 10 technical career certificate courses through which those who take part can gain valuable knowledge and skill to become more marketable when searching for a job or starting a business.
These technical courses that we run here at RTI, these include welding, carpentry, electrical, electronics, air conditioning, refrigeration, auto service technology, modern diesel technology, cosmetology, and heavy equipment operation.
The Institute is now offering specialized professional short-term courses.
In 3 or 6 months, depending on which program you select, residents can receive certificates in areas such as, this is the short course program, in areas such as small engine repair, maritime navigation and safety, drywall installation and finishing, automobile service, furniture making, hospitality, and we also want to introduce Creole, Spanish, and French.
Instructor of the newly added maritime course, Hansel Pearson, says this course will teach the rules of the road, safety, and navigation, adding that those who participate will gain all the relevant information for the A and B license.
If you can obtain passable grades, especially in the rules of the road and the navigation, then I'm confident that the A and the B license will be a breeze. I also want to emphasize meteorology in that being because a lot of times in this region we are faced with adverse weather. And so the course will entail an overview of the local weather. I had the experience of being a pilot for many years, and so I want to pass that on through the university.
Clarence Cash will conduct the course specializing in rock sheet and finish. He explains what students will be able to accomplish once they've successfully completed his course.
Definitely would be able to go on a construction site or a private business, or even if it's their private business, able to have the knowledge and the foresight on knowing, okay, this is the foundation on starting. And having that knowledge of starting, then it becomes the most easiest thing in the world to do. But having to now have a talent and something that they can provide for their family with long term.
Delancey believes that the Ruthnell Technical Institute should be recognized nationally for its program, and the school is making steps in that direction.
Then RTI, basically, is in the process of establishing training programs in North and Central Abaco, and also in New Providence and Mangrove Key and Russ. Therefore, all residents who are interested, especially in Abaco and Nassau, all residents who are interested in securing an exciting, challenging, and financially rewarding career, job in the technical workforce, they ask to contact, in Abaco, you can contact Esther Cornish at 814-6130, or myself here in Grand Bahama at 727-1274, or Joe and Nelda Fox in Nassau, 807-6533.
For Miko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Finally, in news this evening, the U.S. Embassy offering a $10,000 grant competition for environmental science education in celebration of Earth Day held on Thursday, April 22nd. The U.S. Charge d'Affaires Affairs, Usha Pitts, has announced a grant competition for local organizations seeking proposals that will promote science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and environmental education for Bahamian youth. The competition is also open to all Bahamian civil society and not-for-profit organizations. The application deadline is May 31st. Interested organizations should carefully review the details and requirements for the grant competition at bs.usembassy.gov/education-culture/programs. Now, an informational session for organizations interested in submitting proposals for the grant funding is scheduled for Thursday, May 6th at 4 p.m. If you're interested, you can follow the U.S. Embassy Nassau Facebook page for registration details. Stay with us. A check on sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to ZNS Total Sports right here in the North. Jonquil Jones and her team claimed the title as EuroLeague champions. Jones played a pivotal role in that championship series that turned out to be a huge difference maker. Bahamian professional basketball player Jonquil Jones recently won her first EuroLeague title. The 6'6" center says it's a good feeling to be back on top once again.
This is my first year really being able to finish a EuroLeague season because my first year, the second passport that I got wasn't approved in time by EuroLeague, or I guess the FIBA Federation. I wasn't able to play EuroLeague that year. The second year we got cut short because of COVID, which was last year. So finally, my third year, I was able to complete a EuroLeague season with the team.
Jones, who was drafted into the WNBA back in 2016 with the 6th overall pick, says her experience playing in Europe for a franchise like UMMC at Ekaterinburg was special.
It's definitely the best team in the world. Like we have a private jet and everything like that. Like they treat us like professionals here. So, but this UMMC has been the benchmark for a very long time. Like Diana Taurasi has played here. Penny Taylor has played here. Just a lot of great players. If you look at the history of this club has always been great. So, this is like the place to be.
Jones is currently in Russia, making plans to return to the U.S. for training camp with the Connecticut Suns right in time for the WNBA season, which is expected to start May 14th.
It's a lot of new pieces and a lot of people that I haven't even played with before that are on the team. So I'm just interested to get back in there, see how we gel, and just really see how things go. But I expect us to be a playoff caliber team and a team that can make a run in the playoffs. But it's still very new. But as far as preparations go, I feel great. I'm in shape. I'll probably only have like 5 days off, and then I go into WNBA training camp and all of that. So I'm good.
Switching gears now to baseball, the Grand Bahama Little League is finally back, with Little League officially opening the season this past weekend. In coach pitch, the Red Sox defeated the Buccaneers 9-8. In Major League play, the Predators and the Buccaneers finished the game with a tie score 6-6. In the Junior League, it was the Buccaneers that edged out the Hurricanes 4-3. And in the Senior Division, the Westgate Reapers got the win over Crazy Joe's Rebels. The final score was 7-6. And that's a quick check on sports right here in the North. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Raven Mall is the place to shop for that perfect gift for Queen Mom. Over 50 amazing stores to choose from. Celebrate Mom Saturday, May 1st from 12 noon to 5 p.m. Free gifts, music, food, raffles, and more at Raven Mall.
I had a beautiful pregnancy, beautiful delivery. Everything was phenomenal. Ryan started to develop even more symptoms and signs and stuff of autism that was becoming so, it was a lot for us.
Having autism is not like, dealing with regular kids. You have to have a lot of patience. And right now, we're still learning.
He had a lack of speech. He had speech, and he had regressed to where he didn't have speech anymore. And I've learned to celebrate small achievements, small milestones. I have my times when I'm depressed and I'm stressed and I cry, and I have to just take a minute, deal with that, but get back in it.
Join us for the untold story of autism, April 28th through the 30th, only on the ZNS Network.
Tell me, what are you doing to improve your life?
Since COVID-19 is reading. That's something in itself because it's so fast. So yeah, it's engrossing.
Join me for Direct Talk, live with David G. Weekdays at 11 a.m. on the Bahamas Radio Network.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Industrial business is an industry where safety is priority. ADP Industrial Outfitters has the gear for whatever industrial environment you work in. FR fire retardant coveralls, your protection against fire. Chem splash suits for industrial tank cleaning and inspection. Hazmat suits for mold remediation and the medical field. And Tyvek disposable coveralls, protections against particulate matter, light oils, and hazardous liquids. All suits available now at EDP Ship Care and Industrial Outfitters, number 19 Oak Street. Phone 824-2047.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Tiffany Evans, my good interest friend. You're our Facebook friend of the night. Thank you for watching. And also a special happy birthday to Brandon Stewart, that's Brando's boy. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Roll Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Could rising COVID cases lead to the state of emergency being extended? Bahamian and permanent residents only. And RCL expands its partnership with the SPDC. Those stories and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the national report, returns.
You are a healthcare worker. Thank you for fighting on the front lines against COVID-19. It is normal to feel stressed when taking care of others who don't feel well. But remember to take care of yourself. Don't forget to rest between shifts, eat healthy meals, engage in physical activity, and stay connected to family and friends. Avoid harmful coping strategies like drinking alcohol. For managers of healthcare workers, the same tips apply to you. Here's how you can help. Consistently give updates. Rotate staff between high and low stress level functions. Encourage work breaks and ensure that they know where they can find help. We are here for you.
This portion of the news brought to you by BTC's Dollar Holla Deals.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Makush Lopendo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The COVID crisis far from over. That indicative of the third wave now hitting the Bahamas. One health experts have long predicted would be far more dangerous. This then calls for ramped up efforts to rein in the virus, which according to Attorney General Senator the Honorable Carl Bethel, includes implementing some form of legal framework to restrict physical contact. Now, whether that includes an extension of the state of emergency in the form of the emergency powers orders that are set to expire on May 23rd has not yet been determined. The Attorney General contends, though, that the Bahamas will have to do whatever is necessary until it reaches the stage where it has a sufficient portion of the population vaccinated.
When the Bahamas reaches the stage where we've reached what could be termed herd immunity, then we could consider that for the Bahamas, the emergency is basically over. So between now and then, there will be some legal framework, whether it's a declaration of emergency or under a statutory framework. But in any event, rules will have to be mandated to restrict physical contact, continuing until we reach the stage where there is a degree of herd immunity. So whether that's under an emergency power order or under a new enactment, it's not going to stop the need to make rules to restrict certain forms of activity.
Meantime, the AG is counting on the Bahamas getting a share of those 60 million AstraZeneca vaccines the United States wants to share. He believes, though, the world is in an unfortunate position with skyrocketing COVID-19 cases in some countries.
It is an unfortunate situation that now confronts the world. We see that Europe remains basically in lockdown. We see that India is collapsing. Its health care system has basically collapsed. That the whole world will have to come to the aid of that great country. And we pray for the souls of all around the world who have perished and or who are in grave danger, including here in the Bahamas, from this third wave. We certainly are doing everything we can to maintain the efficiency and effectiveness of the Bahamian health system, but it is under challenge, but not as bad as elsewhere in the world.
Well, a new batch of vaccines would certainly help the vaccination process, considering health officials are forced to work with a limited supply to be administered only to Bahamian citizens and permanent residents. The stipulation on who can get the shot comes after health officials opened vaccination appointments for a larger demographic, including those 18 years and older and family islanders. As a reminder, if you wish to get vaccinated, you must show proof of citizenship, permanent residency status, or work ID. Failure to do so results in an appointment being cancelled. The National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultation Committee emphasizes that all residents will be able to get vaccinated once additional doses arrive by the end of May. Now, for a look at local COVID cases, based on the data compiled from Monday, we have another 63 new cases on our hands, 51 of them on New Providence, 11 on Grand Bahama, and the final one on Bimini and Cat Key. Gender-wise, that's 33 men and 30 women. Monday's hospitalizations increasing to 52, 3 of them in the intensive care unit. At last count, the Bahamas was at 9,394 68 of them today. In terms of tests, 294 were completed on Monday, 4 of them repeats, another 2 inconclusive. Well, our news team has learned that COVID-19 has again hit the House of Assembly. This time, all its staffers are in quarantine for the next 14 days. Now, we tried repeatedly today to contact House Speaker, the Honorable Halston Moultrie, for details on tomorrow's scheduled House of Assembly proceedings, but we never got an answer. It was last September, you may recall, when the first positive COVID-19 case was diagnosed in a staff member at the House of Assembly. This is a developing story we are following. Well, our news team has learned that COVID-19 has also impacted operations at the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation's head office and the Produce Exchange on Soldier Road. Business there resumes this Thursday, April 29th. That viral video of this weekend's big party, a serious concern for health officials. The incident even prompting the health minister to renew the call for the public to practice health and safety protocols. This while touting the benefits of vaccination. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
Minister of Health, the Honorable Renwood Wells, says there may not be a need for more COVID-19 restrictions, but more enforcement. This is in the wake of police having to break up a party with some 300 persons in attendance at Bahama Barrels, a property leased by Graycliff over the weekend. With the country's COVID-19 infections now surpassing 10,000, Wells appealed to Bahamians to adhere to the necessary safety protocols.
I'm just calling on the Bahamian people who have been such gracious and excellent partners with this administration to just continue to adhere to the health protocols. You know, if we could just move through while we're vaccinating folks, just adhere to the protocols, I think the entire country, well, I know the country is going to be in a better place. And then you'd be able to have these kinds of functions because we will have vaccinated folks, we would have moved the society to where it needs to be, and then there'd be no more cause for concern while you sit down with friends and commiserate together, enjoying yourselves.
Wells admits officials are considering the possibility of more restrictive measures to contain the country's third wave, stressing, though, that vaccination is key.
Experts in the UK have now announced that the United Kingdom is beyond the pandemic now. That's the announcement that came out a couple of days ago that was announced to the world, and they did it through vaccination and basically adhering to the health protocols. So the Bahamas is following suit. We are seeking to vaccinate as many of our citizens who step forward and say, here am I.
Wells continued to defend government's decision to allow fully vaccinated persons to travel into and around the country without taking a COVID-19 test, despite the fact they can still contract COVID-19. This is amidst pushback by some medical professionals who fear it could set the country back. Wells admits research is still being conducted.
The jury is still out on the research as to when you're vaccinated, how much transmissibility takes place from someone who is vaccinated. The jury is still out on that. The CDC guidelines says that they're willing to allow persons to travel after they would have received their second vaccination shots, 2 weeks after that second shot. And if you'd remember, the incubation period for the virus is 2 weeks after. So I think even in the CDC's understanding, they're trying to put forward that from their scientific understanding, that if you've been fully vaccinated, and 2 weeks beyond that point, more than likely you're not going to be infectious.
As the country looks to achieve herd immunity, Wells is hopeful the Bahamas will receive some of the U.S.'s stock of 60 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine it announced it will share with the global community.
Whether it's by donation or whether it's by purchase, the Bahamas certainly would look forward to being in that queue and being a part of those nations that receive.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Now, just in case you were thinking of holding an event soon, some 20 people will be added to the complement of COVID-19 ambassadors assigned to enforce the COVID-19 emergency orders. Desmond Saunders tells us that this move comes as the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit watches a surge in COVID-19 infractions across the country.
COVID ambassadors and police officers have dished out some 831 citations so far for the year. It's an alarming trend that has concerned officials here at the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit.
That figure of the 831, as I've mentioned, equates to some $561,000.
Hefty fines for those not playing by the rules. Head of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit, Chief Superintendent of Police Abaco says his team is determined to penalize lawbreakers.
It says that 831 citations have already been issued for the year, that we have a number of persons who are still not adhering to the emergency power orders. And so, of course, it is a concern. And so we want to, again, take this opportunity to say to our citizenry and members of the public to do your best to follow the protocols, because the life that you save may just be your own.
COVID-19 officials also concerned about the number of businesses not adhering to the rules.
Every night that we go out, we are citing businesses for operating prohibitively. And we have a number of persons who are patronizing these prohibited business, whether it be a bar, a person's just playing music, loud music, or the discotheque. And so we want to encourage persons not to patronize these prohibited businesses, because if you do, you are likely to spread the virus.
So far this year, over 100 businesses have been cited for operating while prohibited, and over 200 people issued tickets for patronizing a prohibited business. Further, there have been 102 penalties for not wearing masks, 103 for breach of curfew. Over 70 people have been cited for attending large social gatherings, and over 70 persons issued tickets for failure to produce a government ID.
Persons who are operating their businesses, you are advised that business can operate between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. daily. And so we have been advising businesses that by 8:30, they're about to start shutting down your business so that all of your patrons can be out of your business by 9 p.m. Patronizing a prohibited business, it is $300 for every person who is actually patronizing that business. But the fine actually is up on the person who is operating that prohibited business. The fine starts at $2,000. And so if you have 300 persons who are attending patronizing that prohibited business, that person is charged $2,000 plus $300 for every person who is patronizing that prohibited business.
Now, in the next few weeks, COVID ambassadors will be out in full force enforcing the rules. COVID officials advising Bahamians to obey the rules and stay safe. Here at the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit Command Center, Cable Beach, Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Still to come, the health minister weighs in on an uptick in conch poisoning cases, and the Defense Force maintains the country's regional ties. Those stories and more when the National Report continues. And remember to tune in to the Morning Edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour, starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch live at 5 with Amajon Knowles, followed by the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Home. Some say it's where the heart is, where you're most at peace, most yourself. Come home with Commonwealth Bank as we reopen our doors to the familiar comfort, amenities, and superior service that you know and love. Did you miss us, Marsh Harbor? We've certainly missed you. Welcome home. But I wanna go home.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It's just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. Lowest consumer loan rates in the country. Trying to bank with no stress, we make it too easy. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. It's time to bounce back with B.O.B. Apply today for a B.O.B. Visa credit card, debt consolidation loan, or easy top-up. B.O.B. Your bank of solutions.
At BPL, we are building for better. And that starts with improving customer relations for every single customer. Whether it's your home or business, big or small, we want you to know that you are important to us and that providing you with efficient and reliable energy is our business. Through increased efficiency and our hedging strategy, we've been able to decrease your bills significantly, a much welcome relief in these trying times.
I pay close attention to my BPL bill, and I've noticed a continual decline since July of last year. I'm so happy I can open my bill and know that it's steadily becoming more manageable.
As an entrepreneur, I've seen my electricity bills for home and business go down. This is amazing because now more than ever, it gives businesses and everyone the break they need to not only survive, but to succeed.
At BPL, we're proud of the early success of our strategic plan, and we look forward to consolidating the gains we've made. With more improvements on the way, we are continuing to build for a better future for all of us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Avoid eating fresh conch, at least for now. That's the warning tonight from the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food and Safety Authority's Food Safety Quality Unit after several suspected cases of conch poisoning. In fact, officials also advised not to eat conch suspected of not being properly handled and or prepared until the contamination source has been detected. Persons suffering from conch poisoning have showed up at the Princess Margaret Hospital for treatment. Health Minister the Honourable Renwood Wells likened the current cases to those in 2018 when the poisoning was linked to the Vibrio bacteria found in seawater.
We're always concerned with any sort of issues that arise in regards to the Bahamian people's health. The Ministry, the Surveillance Unit, we're surveying the area that we believe this may have emanated from and looking at their protocols as to what they're doing in regards to food preparation. BASFA, the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Food Safety Authority, that's in the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Minister Pintard is involved. And we are looking to ensure that at the end of the day, we continue to protect the health of the Bahamian people.
Wells did not disclose which area was being investigated. He did, however, give some insight into approximately how many people have received medical treatment so far.
I was informed, I was advised that we had probably about 10 persons that were presenting at the time. I have not gotten any sort of updated data beyond that. But we're monitoring the circumstance, and we're going to make sure that the Bahamian people are healthy and whole.
If you've got a cruise-related business, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines has the money to support it. $250,000 to be exact, and that's by way of a grant through the Small Business Development Company. As SBDC Executive Director Davinia Bain explains, the partnership comes at a time when the organization has in recent months had to cast aside many of those business plans and applications focused on cruise passengers, as that environment simply did not exist.
Now we can begin to reinvigorate those plans, and we're excited about that. We have some clients that would have been funded despite the conditions, and now there's some who are on the sidelines waiting to be funded, and we're excited about pushing those applications forward. So that's the first part of what we wanted to discuss. We're going to have a specific seminar on that particular grant so we can explain all of the nuts and bolts.
The seminar is set to take place next week. Will school participants on how to apply, eligibility, and what type of companies will be supported. But here's what's crucial about procurement contracts.
Procurement contracts have a lot to do with cash flow management. So once you've met all the other eligibilities, as was discussed today, in terms of the quality of the product, the process chain management and all of the rest of it, and you've gone through those specific criteria, ticking them off, the next part is to make sure that you can maintain or sustain the relationship. And this is where we want to come in and support, all right? When you're funded through the SBDC, first of all, you have assistance from the organization for up to 3 years after that moment of being funded. So we're excited to be able to offer, and we've been building our post-funding advisor support team specifically to be able to help companies like those who will get procurement contracts through this RCL relationship.
Now to news from the courts. The Court of Appeal has overturned the conviction and sentence of appellate Joseph Dickerson, who was serving a 28-year prison sentence for the 2015 attempted murder of Reginald Chase. This after Dickerson's attorney successfully argued that the failure of the Crown to disclose the antecedents of 2 prosecution witnesses to the defense greatly affected the trial's fairness. The court agreed, noting that the interest of justice required that the jury be made aware of the true facts, which they said could have been done by the agreement of the parties. The court then granted the appellant an extension of time to appeal, quashed his conviction and sentence, and ordered a retrial before a different judge. Meantime, convicted murderer DeAndre Demerit got exactly what he was hoping for when he recently appeared in the Court of Appeal. Demerit was sentenced to 58 years in prison for murder and 28 years for 2 counts of attempted murder. The sentences ran concurrently. Now, during the hearing, the appellant argued, among other things, that the verdicts were unsafe and unsatisfactory. And after hearing from both sides, the court overturned the convictions and sentences. The panel will also hear the parties on whether a retrial should take place in the case. Some 21 Cuban migrants have been sent back home. The 18 men and 3 women were returned to Havana, Cuba via Bahamas Air flight at approximately 2:29 p.m. Immigration officials say COVID-19 safety protocols were adhered to. Attrition led to some 93 officers exiting the police force last year, 25 of them seniors. Come the end of 2021, and another 121 are expected to retire. In that lot, 36 seniors, whose estimated retirement cost come at $5.5 million, which includes $3+ million in gratuities and $936,000 in salaries. The figure also includes 94 contracted police officers at an estimated retirement of $1.5 million. Police Commissioner Paul Roll acknowledging in his recently released 2021 policing plan that these numbers are daunting, given the fact the force is unable to sustain recruitment levels to offset retirement losses. Nonetheless, the RBPF is expected to conduct a recruitment exercise this year as an initial step to rebuilding the organization. The expected 150 new hires will come at a cost of around $2.7 million. The Defense Forces HMBS Lawrence Major lending a hand to regional neighbors in their time of need. The first stop was Kingston, Jamaica, to transport more than $20 million in supplies to volcano survivors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as part of Jamaica's disaster relief aid. The Jamaican Defense Force reached out to the Bahamas after experiencing a challenge with transportation, and this came easy. After all, Jamaica was here to assist in the immediate aftermath of 2019's Hurricane Dorian. It was then on to Suriname to work on the vessel's dry docking and repairs, which includes generator replacement.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
By now, you probably already know about our great VAT-inclusive combos available for our prepaid customers. By now, you probably already know how easy it is to purchase any of our prepaid combos. But what you probably don't know is that we've slashed the prices for many of our prepaid combos.
So our 10-day combo plan is now priced at $20. It used to be $25, it's now $20. It also includes unlimited anywhere minutes. Now, before, the only plan in our lineup that had unlimited anywhere minutes was our always on hero plan, which was a 7-day plan for $15. But we realized that a lot of customers really like that plan and, you know, they want a little bit more, so that's what we've done. We've given them a little bit more with the great features that the always on plan has. So $20, unlimited anywhere calling, which means that you can call on BTC's network as well as another network. It has 6 gigs of data for 10 days. Great combo. But that's not it. We've also reduced the price on our 30-day combo. So it used to be $60, it's now $39. What a great deal.
These packages are catered with every budget in mind, and our deals are unbeatable. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyfrom. You continue to be well and be back here next BTC Connection.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
May I have your attention, please? This week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets include Best Yet Cornflakes, 18-ounce box, $2.49. Hunt's Ketchup, 32-ounce bottle, $2.39. Fresh Yellow Corn, 3 for $1.99. Chicken Leg Quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Best Yet Evaporated Milk, 12-ounce can, 95 cents. Super Value Winton, open Sundays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach, open Sundays, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
No doubt COVID-19 pandemic has fueled many mental health concerns, a disturbing trend clinical psychologist at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center, Dr. Wendy Fernander, has been monitoring.
I can say to you, anecdotally, we are seeing an increase in anxiety and depression, most definitely mood disorders. That there's no doubt about that. And this is directly linked, I believe, to this whole pandemic. The thing is, we're a social being. And that's one of the things we have to recognize, is that we were made to mingle, to touch, to be out there with people, and this has been taken away from us because of the pandemic. So we have to practice what we call social distancing. And so while we are doing that, I say physical distancing, so while we are doing that, what's happening is, for most of us, it's like, what's happening? I'm dying on the inside, okay? So that's one of the things. And then, like I said, the whole uncertainty as to how long this pandemic is going to last. And then, of course, there is the fact that during this whole thing, that jobs have been lost as well.
Dr. Fernando encourages Bahamians who have hit hard times to employ effective coping strategies that could help.
Exercise may be something that you use, and exercise may be something that I use. Someone else may find that they could go to the beach and just sit to the beach and spend, and we have that advantage in small island nations that we have the beaches right there, within a few miles. I encouraged everyone at this time, at this junction in our lives, to find something that will allow you to center yourself, even if it is just listening to some music and dancing. For you to spend some time with you.
Nearly 2 weeks after that mass shooting killed 6 men and wounded a 19-year-old woman and a 2-year-old girl, Lyford Key Foundation officials are looking to partner with influential civic leaders in the Camp Road area to develop the potential of the youth in that area. Executive Director Dr. Nicola Virgil-Roll branded the visit with Camp Road Ministries Pastor Ivan Butler and his wife Joanne as revealing and encouraging. The Lyford Key Foundation's Focus program, designed to improve college readiness, may be an added avenue for expansion to other communities where there is the need. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Hey guys, it's Shay again with another quick tidbit on the perks of being an Alive customer. Now, if you're already on our network, this may just be a refresher for you, but if you're not, this might give you that extra push. If you're interested in getting a bill every month, or you're interested in the best prices on some of the latest devices, or if you've been a little bit interested in that auto pay option, this might be for you. It's time for you to join postpaid and experience opulence.
Simply put, being an Alive postpaid customer means you selected the plan of your choice and you then pay for that plan routinely every month. Unlike prepaid, where you can fluctuate between 7-day and 30-day, all postpaid plans are 30-day plans. So what are some of those postpaid plans? We have our Liberty More, which is $59.99, gives you 10 gigabytes of data, 500 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Premium, which is $99.99 per month and gives you 20 gigabytes of data, 1,000 talk and text minutes. Or we have our Liberty Elite, which is $149.99 a month, includes unlimited data, talk and text, and 1 gigabyte of roaming data. Again, all of our plans include unlimited Alive-to-Alive calls and texts. Now listen, we also have postpaid MiFi plans. That's right. If you have a MiFi device, you can purchase postpaid data plans, MiFi Basic, MiFi Plus, and MiFi Preferred. So what else can you look forward to? Even though we are still practicing social distancing during this time, as a postpaid customer, you not only have access to exclusive offers and devices, but exclusive invites to virtual events hosted by Alive in partnership with local vendors, and access to special offers at many vendors on our List Rewards app.
So there you have it. If you're a prepaid customer and you've been thinking about making that postpaid switch, we hope that this helped. If you're not an Alive customer, what are you waiting on? Alive, believe in best.
The Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, or BBSQ, ensures better business practices in the Bahamas through the development and promotion of voluntary and mandatory national standards. Standards are guidelines which ensure that goods and services are produced with the safety of consumers and the environment in mind. BBSQ has developed standards for the manufacturing of bottled water. All vehicles brought into the country are also subject to standards. We have protocols for the poultry and egg production industry. National standards also apply to the construction industry. We are setting quality management and quality assurance guidelines to ensure that medical laboratories are competent. Standards help businesses to reduce expenditure, improve customer satisfaction, access new markets, reduce environmental impact, increase market share, and innovate. For consumers, standards provide improved choice, lower costs, greater assurance, compatibility, consistency, and better product information. We believe that standards matter to everyone, everywhere. We are the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, where quality is our standard.
BBSQ, coming for through. You, for me.
Months after satellite passport offices were opened in Exuma, Inagua, and Long Island, the Eleuthera Passport Office and the Administrator's Office in Governor's Harbor will open this Friday. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will lead a contingent of government officials to the ceremony. The new office will provide a full range of passport services, including enrollment for new applicants, renewals, and biometric fingerprinting. You can watch live coverage of the opening ceremony right here on the ZNS network. An overwhelming number of Exuma residents taking advantage of the opportunity to strengthen their defenses against the COVID-19 virus. Administrator Deborah Moxie-Roll says residents lined up in significant numbers yesterday to get the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine, with sites set up at the Georgetown Clinic, Sandals Emerald Bay, Staniel Key, Black Point, and Farmers Key.
The response to the vaccination rollout today has been tremendous. We've had quite a few residents who were in waiting before the vaccines even arrived. And so we've had to put on additional slots at both Sandals and the Exuma Healthcare Center, Georgetown Clinic. And like I indicated before, the response is just great. I noticed a lot of senior citizens, and it seemed to be a general mix. At Sandals, it would have been a lot of employees from that area. But then all in all, it seems like a general mix of the population.
Of Exuma's rollout did come with a few hiccups.
Minor hiccup with the connectivity when we first started, but we were able to overcome it, so everything is flowing quite smoothly right now. Well, the team has indicated that as long as persons are coming, they will be doing the vaccinations. So we are prepared to service the public. So anyone who comes will not be turned away. People can come on site and register when they get here. People are excited and they're coming out to get the vaccination.
Heading south to Inagua, the first day of the vaccine rollout there, a huge success. Even Administrator Marlon Leary got vaccinated.
The turnout for the vaccine rollout, it was pretty good. It was, we had about, I think it was about 129 persons that received the vaccine. The process at first was a little glitches, but they were able to work them out, and the process flowed smoothly. It was a mixture, a great mixture of persons. And now I was impressed. And to tell you the truth, we had a number of calls today because persons thought that they were going for a second day. I think we had in excess of at least about 20 persons wanted to do it today, but of course there's only for one day on the 26th between 12 and 6 p.m. So I think we might need them to come back again.
Leary says interest in the vaccine is high across the southernmost island.
Well, our population is about 1,000 plus. We have about, I would say, about 700 adults. And at first, a lot of persons were skeptical, but from what I've seen yesterday during the rollout, persons are coming on board now, and a lot of persons really want to receive this vaccine. I was the very first person, as community leaders, we are at the forefront, and sometimes in these islands, persons actually watch what we do. And, I'm one of the persons, I want to see our country get back to some sense of normalcy.
Well, right now is as good a time as any to check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. It was another warm and breezy day around the 700 Islands, but outside of our studios just now, we have a temperature of 79 degrees under partly sunny skies, with relative humidity at 64%, easterly winds at 15 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,018.0 millibars, that's 30.06 inches, and your pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening evening? Well, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We protected you. 75s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Greentoe, Key, and Marsh Harbor in Abaco. The Berry Islands, 77, 78 in Allenstown, Bimini, 76 in Harbor Island. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 77, 77 also in Otterstown, Cat Island. Staniel Key in the Exumas, 78, 78 in Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. A string of 77s in San Salvador and Rum Key with Georgetown, Exuma, 80 degrees there, 80 also in Ragged Island, Clarence, Sound Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Megawana, 79, Ackland, 79 degrees, Matthew Town in Nagua, 81, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Center. In the Northwestern Islands, easterly winds, speeds 15 to 20 knots with choppy seas, 4 to 7 feet over the ocean, so caution flags are in place. High tide will take place tonight at 9:03 in the Central and Southeastern Islands. Advisories are up, easterly winds 15 to 25 knots with very rough seas at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, in the Northwestern Islands, the winds will fall off just a tad to about 12 to 18 knots. Seas subsiding 3 to 6 feet over the ocean, but the caution flag will remain in place. High tide at 9:24 in the morning, low tide at 3:32 in the afternoon. In the Central and Southeastern Islands, there'll also be a slight reduction in the winds from an advisory to a caution level. Easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, and the wave heights down 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. And then as we take you into Thursday in the Northwestern Islands, we have a rotation in the winds, clockwise that is. Southeasterly flow at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights maintaining at 3 to 6 feet with caution flags up. High tide 10:16 in the morning on Thursday. Low tide takes place at 4:23 in the afternoon. As we take you into the into the central and southeastern Bahamas, the winds also southeast, speeds down 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet. Caution flags throughout the central and southeastern Bahamas as well. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Charlie Gray, your boat, need it bailing out. Get a sailorman sound. Charlie Gray, your boat, need it bailing out. Get a sailorman sound. If you wanna go to heaven, put the radar on your head, boy. That's a sailorman sound. If you wanna go to heaven, put the radar on your head, boy. That's a sailorman sound.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
This Mother's Day, you're going to need the card with enough rewards. Not your credit or debit card, your Bahama Health Card. Enjoy discounts and promotions featuring all the things Mom loves. Flowers, spa and beauty treatments, appliances, health, fitness, relaxation, food, and treats. And Mom, if they don't buy it for you, you can buy it yourself. Yeah, Bahama Health got you, Mom. Visit bahamahealth.com for further details. Happy Mother's Day.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
The $20 combo, unlimited talk, yo, to every network you know. Across the Bahamas, I got 6 gigs of data, plus unlimited chat. It just roll over too. Now let me check my people on Facebook and WhatsApp. BTC is where it's at. I rock my combo.
Your BTC 10-day combo is now only $20 and is supersized with a new low price.
BTC, do it again.
You're on a family island. Trying to get a new passport can really be costly.
And so what we're trying to do now with this initiative, by expanding and extending the ability for you to acquire a passport in Exuma and the other islands mentioned, Long Island and Eleuthera and Maikal and Anagua, is keep monies in the pockets of Bahamian families who should not be disadvantaged simply because they live in a family island.
But for those of you in other family islands, don't think you'll be left out. There's an option for you too.
And those islands that were not directly having passport offices installed or open, what we would do is we would use our mobile units, and we would take those services. So the mobile units can go to Cat Island and go to other places around Key, go to Bimini, to take care of those persons who require the same services that Bahamians in Nassau do.
And Johnny came. Blue Hill water dry. I remember Saturday night.
Praise the Lord, friends, family and Asta Gumpa. Friends, family and Asta Gumpa.
You know I love you. You know Gumpa love you with all of his heart.
Well, if you love me, then why is this finger still empty? Forget you and the church. I'm going to give you 4 weeks to decide if you want me. And after that, I'm gone.
Praise the Lord, friends, family and Asta Gumpa.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports. Well, Gabriel Curtis broke a long-standing national record in the men's 10,000 meters, running at 30 minutes, 32.11 seconds in an invitational event at the Virginia Challenge at the University of Virginia over the weekend. The Florida State freshman was 20th overall, running against top-notch collegiate talent in the NCAA. Curtis, it was his first official 10,000-meter run. He's about 3 minutes off the Olympic qualifying time. As for Curtis, his 30.5-minute run was almost a full minute faster than Philip Watkins' 34-year-old national record that he set in 1987 in Jackson, Missouri. That former national record was 31:23. The new men's 10,000-meter mark is the only outdoor long-distance national record on the books that is not held by Bahamian marathon runner O'Neal Williams. The Bahamian standout collegiate runner is set to compete at the University of North Florida's Invitational this Thursday. He will run in the men's 5,000 meters, an event in which he holds a personal best time of 14 minutes, 33.9 seconds. That was established at the Pepsi Florida Relays earlier this month. And Bahamian collegiate tennis player Sydney Clark and her team at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, with a big performance over the weekend in the Division I Women's Tennis Championships. In first-round action, the Blazers took down the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners 4-zip. Championships was being played at the Warrens Tennis Complex in North Texas. In doubles play, Clark and her partner Annalisa Smith experienced some tough competition going up against Roadrunners Jasmine Storr and Keegan McCain. The scores tied 6-6 in the final set when the match was stopped as the Blazers clinched the doubles point by taking the other two doubles matches. In singles, Clark won a tough first set against Catalina Cabric 7-6. In the second set, Clark wasted no time in turning back Cabric with a 6-1 scoreline to win the match in straight sets and help her team stay unblemished. She won 7-6 and 6-1 to help the Blazers go up 3-0. That's been a look at sports.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Hi, this is the Bishop of Motivation, Spence Finlayson, host of Immediate Response. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for an exciting show. I dare you not to miss it.
Maybe it's a part of a plan. I'll just keep on making the same mistakes. Now I gotta cut loose.
refreshing and entertaining. Hosted by myself, Amajal Knowles, and my co-hosts, Kelsey Johnson and Anthony Smith. Join us live at 5 every day on ZNS Channel 211 for the new wave of news.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
There's been a lot of public discussion about the safety of COVID-19 vaccines. Here are some of the facts. Common side effects from the COVID-19 vaccine are usually mild and temporary. These can include a sore arm and a fever. More serious side effects are possible, but extremely rare. All COVID-19 vaccines undergo vigorous clinical trials before they are put into use, and they are regularly reassessed. Scientists are constantly monitoring the data and reports to ensure that vaccines are safe and cause no health risk. Remember that you are far more likely to experience severe complications or death associated with COVID-19 than the vaccine itself. As you make your decision to get vaccinated, be sure that you are armed with the facts.
This message has been brought to you by the Government of the Bahamas in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Our marine resources were once considered inexhaustible. Conch and reef fish like grouper were abundant everywhere, and it seemed as if the lobster catch would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone, now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
We've heard your concerns about the COVID-19 vaccine, and we're here to give you some of the facts. The COVID-19 vaccine is absolutely safe and effective. We've seen that it definitely helps prevent people from getting severe illness and from death due to COVID-19. So people should take this vaccine, firstly to protect themselves from severe illness and death. But they should also be taking this vaccine to try and help the country get herd immunity. So while you may be sitting on the fence wondering what the vaccine might or might not do, right now, you can be sure that the virus itself can certainly make you ill at any age, in whatever physical condition you may be in. If you have comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension, and even obesity, do make sure that you get your COVID-19 vaccine as soon as it becomes available to
you. New year, new time. Watch Conversations with Christ every Sunday at 10 a.m. And I'll tell you what, because I recently had someone ask me, they said, Daniel, how do I explain unemployment to my kids? How do I explain that I'm not working and we on welfare, we on government assistance? How do I explain that to my children? And the only thing I could tell them is one word, and that's temporary. Everything is temporary. Because see, when you walk by faith and not by sight, what you understand is that even though you don't see things changing, you don't have to see it. you just know that it's happening. And then he said, but it's been over 2 years. I haven't worked. So how do you explain temporary? And that's when I had to let him know that, hey, to God, 1 day is like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years is like 1 day. So don't compare today to forever. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So 10 a.m. Conversations with Christ every Sunday.
Tell me, what are you doing to improve your life?
Since COVID-19 is reading, that's something in itself because it's so vast. So yeah, it's interesting.
Join me for Direct Talk, live with David G. Weekdays at 11 a.m. on the Bahamas Radio Network.
Do you know that adherence is more than taking medications? It calls to you to stick to the medical regimen as prescribed by your healthcare provider. If you have been asked to have your labs drawn to assess your kidney and liver function, please keep your lab appointments, as these determine the effects medications are having on your body. Follow-up doctor's appointments are necessary, as this is the time when the doctor performs a physical examination and discusses any test results and any concerns or issues you may have with your course of treatment. Specialized services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy are necessary as they help to restore you back to normal health. Sticking to prescribed diet and exercise regimens can improve medication effectiveness and contributes to overall health and well-being. Make a commitment today to be adherent to your medication regimen and practice healthy living.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas AIDS Foundation with funding provided by PEPFAR, USAID Local Capacity Initiative Small Grant.
Time now for weather.
Our final look at weather, we will get you started with a satellite discussion. And, well, we have high pressure across the Bahamas that's been building over the past couple of days, generating some moderate breezes, which will continue right through tomorrow, but we'll see a slight reduction to about 12 to 18 knots. And then by Thursday, those winds will rotate clockwise to make way for this frontal system, which is now presently across Texas. It is moving very slowly towards the south and east. Our computer models all suggest that it will get into the extreme northwest Bahamas around Grand Bahama and northern Abaco sometime late on Saturday night, probably around 10 o'clock thereabout, and then make a slow trek towards the south and east. The frontal boundary pushing through the capital sometime around 8 o'clock on Sunday morning. That will bring an increase in cloudiness on Saturday over the extreme northwest Bahamas and eventually over the capital on Sunday. Some showers associated with that system, possibly an isolated thunderstorm embedded along the line of showers as it makes that slow trek towards the south and east. Behind it, we don't expect any significant change in the winds and temperatures. They will remain basically the same, as you'll see when we get into our 7-day forecast in just a short while. Now, our forecast for tonight, we are looking at breezy conditions again, otherwise partly cloudy and a bit on the mild side because the wind is going to keep things a little comfortable tonight with your low temperature getting down to 73 degrees. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, still on the breezy side, even though the winds will drop off just a tad, as we told you already, to about 12 to 18 knots. Isolated thunderstorms in spots, so that means some showers are going to be lurking around the area. One or two could move inland. But nevertheless, because of the warm temperatures, the air is very buoyant, and that could trigger one or two brief sporty showers. 84 degrees for your high temperature tomorrow. Your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days. Those showers will remain in the forecast through tomorrow, but Thursday is when the winds will swing out of the southeast, and eventually we'll get that southwesterly flow as we head into the weekend ahead of that frontal system. The front goes through us, that's here in the capital, Sunday morning, and we will see temperatures drop just slightly to about 85 degrees. Like I told you, not a significant change at all in our temperatures. They're basically the same, 1 or 2 degrees here and there. Nighttime temperatures, they're going to hold in the low 70s right through the 7-day cycle, despite the passage of a weak frontal system. Vocational.
Well, thanks, Basil. Before we leave, we'd like to wish our Siobhan Cooper and her husband, Basil, a very happy anniversary. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team here, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network.